This whole password system thing kind of reminds me of the novelty of older games.
Yeah,
And but at the same time how certain novelties at this point would just be seen as just in the way or
yeah.
unnecessary. It's
Just have a save system. Who care about password? Like, what's the game called? Just Sabrina the Teenage Witch Potion Commotion, where that had a password system instead of a save system, and always had to be writing stuff down. Like, you write stuff down, beat the level, and suddenly you're writing something else down after the status. It's memories, but yeah, it's not exactly convenient.
I mean, the thing is, it's almost like the thing with going into magazines um and doing like checking game magazines for certain hints. I don't know. There was just something about it that made it its own little magic. As
And that
opposed
has been
to,
replaced to wikis.
and sure, some wikis are fun, but they're not like most wikis are there for info and not anything. Unlike the Transformers wiki, which is there for info and having fun.
But yeah, and then there's games like Noita and Terraria, which are fun little wiki games with platforming mini games attached to it. It's just, I mean, okay, like I was playing Noita recently, and I just every time I go to the Holy Mountain, immediately I'll Control, I'll delete. Okay, what's it? Alt tab, yes. Go into the Holy Mountain immediately. Alt tab. Type in all the perks there. How's this? Is this good? Is this good? Is this good? And I shouldn't do that. I should just, because the fun of Noita is just experimenting and finding out, seeing how something works yourself, not just looking at it and reading a wiki. The fun is saying, okay, so this is how teleportitis dodge works. Well, you get teleported into the lava outside of your own wishes. That's how it works. And the fun is seeing the things fail or succeed in amazing ways. So even though you have to wiki dive in that game, you also have to mitigate it because wiki diving too much takes away so much fun. So it really is it's just in general where there are certain games where there's a delicate balance in how the wiki system how the wiki system works.
The thing is that what I've gotten used to doing basically is going to TV tropes and looking for certain tropes that would of a game that would help me um, uh, because then they like uncover certain secrets. Like when I went to Triple Deluxe's page for Kirby, because I already knew the story and everything, and I was going to look into doing the True Arena and DDD Tour, etc. I learned that dashing while spitting out a star gives you extra damage. And it was at that point that I'm sure that doing that saved me during the true arena where I somehow the first time I did it my first try using whip and then I lost whip, thank you Krakow, and then got stone, which is super broken now. But then but I felt it was like so broken that it's almost like I went in there with Archer, which is what I was trying to, not do by just having an ability that required, some skill instead of an auto.
That's amazing.
Yes, some skill instead of an auto invincibility dodge thing. No, block thing. So so I just went in the second time, got whip, went really far with it, and
Did you fall on purpose?
yeah, I fell on purpose to try and see if there were any secrets there. I got whip, went really far with it, but then lost it during dark what was it? Dark Meta Knight? It was either Dark Meta Knight or Sectonia. And then I had to deal with it as normal Kirby, and then I had to deal with the final secret boss as normal Kirby with like a third of my health. And somehow, with the smallest sliver of health possible, I did it as normal Kirby. And that was so... I'm sure that I probably, like, really... my victory was partially due to the fact that I knew about that dash thing. And it didn't feel like cheating. It's like something that maybe you could pick up, but you don't really play as normal Kirby a lot in these stages.
I mean, what counts as cheating is always depending on the person, because it's like and this is actually kind of a second point. So the first point I was going to say is that in terms of going to TV trips to get secrets, I think that's one thing I like about the Noita and Terraria wikis, where they're the kind of games where eventually they finish giving just the information. And suddenly they say, so what now? Let's actually start giving advice. And so pages will just like, this is the strategist to beat this boss. Here's this weird thing this item can do. You're in the Holy Mountain. Oh, here's a way to get Holy Mountain items for free. And it just shares YouTube videos. And I like that. So it's like, this is a wiki that it has the information, but it also has the deeper information in terms of playing the game. And I think that's what I'm thinking about the whole run dash thing. Like that, if there's like a dash page, there'd probably just be a note that run dash adds damage. Here's all the ways to add damage, stuff like that. And I really like that. But speaking on what was the other thing, the second thing you were saying?
Let's see. It was before with how just simple and easy, but soulless it is to just check things on the internet, and the archaic ways of how we used to play games.
You've gone way far back. You're talking about Kirby.
Yeah, I beat the secret final boss with Kirby alone, and I'm sure that I wouldn't have been able to do it without knowing about the dash, the dash extra damage. And the thing is, it didn't feel like cheating because it's not.
So what counts as cheating is different, because there's talking about Terraria again. There's the worlds are randomized, right? So you might be in a situation where your world has no sand because your desert has been completely corrupted, but you need regular sand to build a lot of the items, because you need regular sand to build glass. And so some people may consider it cheating to start a new world and just get the resources you need in that new world, and others wouldn't. Personally, I don't love doing it, but if push comes to shove, I might. But that's the thing where it's like, everyone has their limit as to what exactly is cheating always. And I mean, in single player games, that's fun. In multiplayer games, that's less fun. It's like, no, we should all have the same idea of what counts as cheating in multiplayer games. But in single player games, yeah. I mean, you could argue that the one example that is Pokemon, where people don't have the same example of, hey, is hacking your Pokemon, just making your Pokemon program cheating. And some people are like, yes, because I trained to get that. And other people are like, yeah, I'm not wasting 20 hours. You get in the perfect EVs. And yeah, I've done that sometimes, but generally I'm not going to do that, because that's just not fun.
Yeah, the reason why, a big reason why I didn't consider the learning about the dash stars cheating is because it still requires skill.
There's the knowledge, and then there's actually doing it.
Yeah, so dashing could have killed me in certain stages on that final boss, but it was me knowing when to take the risk and when not to, and that just added another dimension to the game, rather than it being something where it's like, add extra damage to your star spitting automatically or something like that.
Yeah. Or if you come to the stage to the top, you get double damage the whole match or something like that.
Yeah, so it
I mean,
was
that
fair.
should be clear. That shouldn't be something people have to find out, but that's a whole other story.
Well, the thing is that there's a huge debate on what constitutes good secrets versus bad secrets in games.
You will not believe I could talk about Naruto again, but so interesting.
But because I'd have to say that a lot of this, obviously a lot of old stuff constitutes to bad secrets, but there are some things, I guess nowadays gamers are like either too entitled or too used to looking up things on the internet. Because there are just some things where I'm like, that seems weird. Let me go explore that for a little bit. And then I'm rewarded. And it's a really good feeling. Instead of, that seems weird. Let me go check Google for a little bit. Oh, that's what that is.
I think that a part of it is that there's a lot of games, and this is where Naruto comes in, where the secrets in the game are the secrets that you're supposed to find out on your own, and secrets the community are supposed to come together and find out. Because they're just like, this is something that your average player will literally never find out. There are some people who might get all their way to the end of a long-winded secret, but there's some secrets that are just, this is just, no one's ever finding this out without a bunch of people coming together and working together and making videos and doing that sort of thing, and that's kind of fun. But then when all of that is over, it's basically just, you don't know about 50% of the game, and now I have to go to the wiki.
Yeah. I mean,
there are secrets in Naruto right now. There's this thing with some eye markings, and the game has finished development for like a year, probably a year and a half, and no one has any idea what it is. And people are still trying to figure it out, and no one knows. And I think that secret's probably too obscure.
there was a video I think Rabbit Luigi did on these type of secrets where it takes people a long time to discover. But the thing is that I was playing. I finally finished Super Mario 3D Land, and I have I have a 3-star file. I don't really feel the need to go any further, because then I'd have to replay the entire game as Luigi, and it's like I don't know, I don't see a reason to.
That seems like too much.
Yeah, like maybe
it's like
if I ever
world where you have to beat the game as everyone. No.
Yeah, maybe if the thing is that wouldn't be so bad considering 4-player stuff if it weren't for the fact that Rosalina is unlocked later, so you can't do it in one run. That's just so stupid.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I was going through, and there was only one stage where I could not for the life of me find that star coin. And like it turns out that it was now I just made this like almost infinitely harder.
Impossible now. Is this even possible?
It is. I looked it up and it is, and I don't know if I end up pulling it off, but it's like really like frames are need to be important here. I think I just decided, I might have messed it up. Let's see. There are certain points where I'm just like, no, I won't let the game beat me.
This is one of those instances. If it was just you alone, like what Panga, a Mario Maker streamer, would call Coconut Ball, where he just speeds through all of this with Coconut Ball as background music. It makes no sense to the people watching on Twitch, but on YouTube, well, it does make sense because they know what's going to happen. But on YouTube, it's just sped up, And that's the kind of thing that we are not doing apparently.
Well, that's something that I'd edit in post with just like some funny music. But
What's funny?
the problem is because we're talking normally. I realize, wait, I can't speed it up now. I should have done it from the beginning.
What's funny about Twitch is that Mario Maker, right? I watch a lot of Mario Maker on YouTube, and suddenly I'm going to the creators on Twitch, and they die in a level, and it's a very long level. And now I won't have to watch them play the entire level again. It's not like YouTube where they cut it out. I can't just fast forward. No, I'm watching them play this extremely long level and I'm just going to keep watching them. And that was an experience. Where it's like, yeah, you're watching Twitch for the conversation as well, because the gameplay is not going to be as streamlined.
Well, at least it's still... it's still something where Twitch just seems like so much of an other world to me, with how just the things are and what they expect you to do for content or what because they're like going with the whole longer videos thing. For longer videos for Twitch obviously means a lot more, and even if I had the skill for solo talking, I could never do it for that long. Like that is definitely like a true skill, or something that I at least need friends for.
There are a lot of people who they don't talk. They're just streaming a video game and people are watching the gameplay. And so it's not necessarily a one-to-one. You have to talk, or you have to talk the whole time. They're different sub-communities of Twitch, and especially since you can stream anything there. So there's a lot of different things. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but I've watched. I watch Twitch streamers from a lot of them I just watched from YouTube, and suddenly I'm watching them on Twitch. But now I just like that world is more accessible to me. So it isn't exactly you have to be constantly entertained. You could just play a video game well, and I'm just there to watch someone play Overland or No Man's Sky or Mario Maker. There are some times when I'm like, yeah, I'm tired of the community back and forth. I just want to watch someone play Mario Maker, and I find a smaller person who's just playing Mario Maker.
Honestly, I guess in that way, and people also have like, dreams where. Yeah.
There's the people like who do the really long thing, like Ludwig, I guess he's a YouTube streamer now, but he was on Twitch, and he came over to YouTube and pretty much the same thing. Where the current thing he's doing right now is, the stream won't end until I beat Elden Ring, and so there are points when he's just like asleep, and the stream.
Iron Mouse does that too. Well, not specifically those type of challenges, but she does have parts where, where it's just her sleeping, and then when the alarm times, the chat comes in and wakes her up.
And I just checked Ludwig's channel, and he's still streaming. And I go on the stream and it says started 4 days ago.
Oh dear.
That's funny.
At least you can order food.
Oh yeah, at least. I mean, I'm sure they're set up that sort of way. Like, it must be weird. I wonder how that feels. Well, just in general, I wonder how it feels to be like you're doing something and 100,000, well, not 100,000, let's say 10,000 people are currently watching you do something right now. But it's even weirder as like 10,000 people are just watching you sleep. And how does that feel? Like, while you're going to bed and you're trying to fall asleep, you know a bunch of people are just at the other end of the screen watching. It's definitely it's a skill.
At least it's not like that one guy who thought he ended his stream but actually didn't press the button and then immediately just like clicked on something to masturbate to.
I'm thinking Snoop Dogg was live for like 13 hours and he didn't realize it. Just what if he did something What if he came into that room and did something really weird? He didn't. Good for him. But yeah, it's always something to think about.
I mean, I technically have nothing to hide other than the obvious, but it's still like I'd be so afraid of letting it slip or somebody else interrupting me because I don't have freedom, so I could never do a continuous stream of anything. You
Yeah.
know, oh, you know this is what's weird, and yeah, it would be. The way I phrase this sometimes with me not having freedom almost makes it sound like I'm recording with you in jail. That would be a weird YouTube channel.